Thank you for staying with me. You were given new responsibilities in 2018, and that is, I'm reading here, Maritime, Air and Cyber Command Brigade Commander Designate. What does that mean?
Well, that is a restructuring of the force, putting all non-land forces under one command. And so that's the Air Wing, the Coast Guard, a new capability that we are outfitting in the JDF Cyber and Intelligence.
So you're charting a new course here again. So you became the head of the JDF in
JDF Coast Guard.
JDF Coast Guard, beg your pardon, 2014, having acted in 2013, and now you have these new responsibilities. What is a typical day like for somebody in the JDF Coast Guard, if you can do that in about 40 seconds?
There's no typical day, but it would involve getting to your office and dealing with a range of things, anything from welfare to operations to training to some strategic planning to interacting with lots of government agencies in Jamaica.
And you are even seconded to one or two of these agencies?
Yes. In 1998, I was seconded to the Ministry of Transport. That was when we were setting up our Maritime Authority of Jamaica. So I was part of that setting up team.
I hear that people who work at sea eat a lot. Is that true?
Not really. Not really. It depends on your seakeeping ability. But I'm a healthy eater at sea because that's how I function. You burn a lot of calories to be able to do the job that you do. Some people do get seasickness and they don't eat, but my way of dealing with it is to ensure that there's something in my stomach, and that way I don't get seasick.
How many vessels have you captained?
My first command was a 82-foot point class, Belmont Point, and then I commanded HMGS Surrey. So 2.
You're doing all of this while you're raising a son and while you're being wife to Jonathan. How do you balance this? Because JDF is very demanding.
The balance is that Jonathan and James sacrifice for the JDF. That's the balance. It's a fine balance, but I do, like all professional women, you have to, find that little sweet spot. But it's very difficult.
And you're a hands-on mom. You're doing all kinds of staycations, and you post them on Facebook with your son and your husband, eh?
Yes, I'm passionate about Jamaica. I particularly love traveling around Jamaica to off-the-beaten-track places and ensuring that my son is quite exposed to everything that this country has to offer.
You've been also instrumental in the establishment of a few entities to do with maritime business. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was invited to participate in the setting up of the Women in Maritime Association of the Caribbean. Women in the maritime field, even in commercial shipping, is a rarity. And so the International Maritime Organization has seen it fit to foster those associations across the world. And when they set it up in the Caribbean, I was a founding member.
How have you been recognized in terms of medals or those kinds of acknowledgements?
I received the Meritorious Service Award medal and the Jubilee medal.
We are coming near to the end of this interview. Have you had any hair-raising events that made you say, oh my God, did I make the right decision to enter the Coast Guard?
I've never questioned whether or not that decision was right. I would do it again. But there have been situations where, you think, well, am I going to get out of this in one piece? I guess one of the more memorable one is my first day in command of a patrol boat. My first mission was actually to evacuate Pedro Keys because of the threat of a tropical storm. I think it was Tropical Storm Wilma. And when we got to the Keys, we conducted the mission, and we needed to get back so we could put the vessel in the mangroves where we put it for shelter. And I did not have my engines. I lost my engines at Pedro Keys. We eventually got one started. So this was very, very traumatic for me because here I was stranded. Having completed my mission, now I couldn't get my crew back to mainland. But we managed to get both engines going after about 3 hours on the way and working assiduously. We got the second engine going.
How many men and women do you have under your command now, and how many will you have when you take up the new post?
Currently, I have 387 all ranks under my command, and the new post will bring it to over 1,700.
And I know that you are not in any way worried that you will be right up there with the tasks. Thank you so much for coming in and talking with me, and I wish you every success in with your new responsibilities.
Thank you, Faye.
Thank you so much for joining us.